What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to another Battlefield 6 gun guide. In today's episode, we're going to be diving deep into the stats of the new BROD 3 Carbine, and toward the end of the video, I'll be sharing a couple excellent attachment combinations to try out. And diving right in, as always, let's have a look at our raw power potential, and our rate of fire is exactly the same as the GRT-BC, another carbine in the game, at 830 rounds per minute, and it has the exact same damage and range profile as well, giving us identical time to kill values at 217 milliseconds up close with a 4-shot kill, which is a solid time to kill in this game for sure. And then at long ranges, when we get all the way into the 7-shot kill, we're killing in 434 milliseconds, which is also better than average for a carbine. As for headshots, it's pretty standard for a lot of the guns in this game. It takes 3 headshots within most ranges to reduce the number of shots to kill. Unless you're using hollow point, that will cut it down to 2 headshots required at all ranges in order to reduce the number of shots to kill. And speaking of ranges, we just have a very standard range profile here for a carbine, so our maximum damage range is just 9.5 meters, very short. But then our 5-shot kill range here extends out to 21.25 meters. And then finally, we drop from a 6-shot kill to a 7-shot kill at 75 meters. And again, just want to point out, this is identical to the GRT-BC. Next up, let's have a look at our muzzle velocity value, and we're basically right in the middle here of the carbines at 580 meters per second. It is worth noting this is a little bit better than the GRT-BC, and we are going to be comparing to that gun a lot, obviously, since they're so similar, but it does beat the GRT in the muzzle velocity department. Then when it comes to hipfire, it just has standard hipfire spreads for a carbine in this game, so no surprises here whatsoever. And this brings us into recoil, and taking a look at the comparison here, this gun definitely has some recoil to it. It does climb a bit on you, and it kicks upward with a bit of a lean to the right. And you can see, as expected, your spread will increase a little bit as you continue holding the trigger down, but not to a super large degree, unlike the GRT-BC. So this is yet another area where the BROD 3 is better than the GRT-BC, at least in my opinion and what I look for in a recoil pattern. I'd much rather see that BROD 3 recoil than the GRT-BC recoil. As for our handling stats, there's really just nothing out of the ordinary here with the BROD 3. It's very standard in this department, and it's the same thing with our movement speed values. It's just normal for a carbine. And so this just leaves us with our REDSEC stats against 2 armor plates. This is going to be an 8 to 13 shot kill for a 506 millisecond time to kill up close, or 867 millisecond time to kill at a distance, which is, again, a little bit better than average. It's exactly the same as the GRT-BC as well, and so it does appear to be at least a decent choice in REDSEC. And there we go, that wraps it up for all of the basic stats. Now let's get into a couple excellent attachment combinations that I've personally been enjoying and finding a lot of success with. And the first one I wanted to share is my preferred build with this. This is my versatile one. So with this one, we're using my favorite optic, the Mini Flex. We've got the 50 milliwatt violet laser, so we maintain better spread values when moving. For this one, we have the standard suppressor, just suits my playstyle very nicely. We are using the extended barrel here as well to squeeze out some extra muzzle velocity, although this does harm our aim down sight speed, so that's where the canted stubby comes in. That helps bring our aim down sight speed down to a normal value at 200 milliseconds, while also nicely improving recoil. And then after that, we've got the 30 round fast mag combined with the mag catch for a really nice fast reload time at just 1.85 seconds. And then finally, I'm just topping this off with lightweight ammo so I can strafe a little bit in fights. And combined with the violet laser, it allows you to do that without getting the spread too out of control. And this is just a really nice all-arounder where I generally still try to keep myself in like close to mid-ranges, but if I need to stretch out and hit a longer range shot with some controlled tap firing, I still feel pretty comfortable doing that with this build. And so this one has treated me quite well, but I did want to share an alternative build for you guys. And this one's designed a bit more for longer range combat and specifically going for headshots. It pairs nicely with the new map, Surreal Reef, as well, since you will often find yourself with some longer range engagement distances. So with this one, we're using the ROM 1.75 optic for that little bit of extra zoom compared to the previous build. We once again have that violet laser. For me, I just really like this attachment on everything because it makes me feel less paranoid about maybe moving my feet a little bit while firing some shots. For my muzzle, I've got the lightened suppressor this time. That way it's also helping a little bit with recoil control. We once again have the extended barrel since we are going to be taking some longer range fights with this, so that extra velocity makes a big difference, especially after they nerfed the drag coefficient in this game. For my underbarrel, this time I'm using the 6H64 vertical. That one's going to give a very notable improvement to recoil as well. We have the standard 30 round mag on this, and then finally we're topping it off with hollow point for improved headshot effectiveness. And with this, as you can see, this is a more accurate version of the gun than the previous build. And I find with this one, I feel a lot more comfortable really stretching those ranges out and even challenging people across the map sometimes. Because while it's still not the most accurate gun out there, it's accurate enough that it will hold its own. So this one is also an excellent setup for the people that more so want to hang back a little bit and get those longer range engagements more often than these super close range fights. But for me, I definitely lean more toward the first build since I generally like being more on the aggressive side. And there we go. That is going to wrap it up for the stats, as well as some attachment combinations to try out with the BROD 3. And when it comes to my overall thoughts on this gun, I personally really like it. I do think it is the best out of the 3 guns that came at launch with the season, and I've found plenty of success with it. My only issue here is it really highlights the fact that there isn't that much variety in how they balance their weapons in this game. That has been a bit of a gripe. As somebody that dives deep into this stuff, it has been a bit of a gripe for me throughout Battlefield 6's life cycle. I often feel like there's just not enough character in the individual weapons within a category. There's too much homogenization there. Like, most guns have the exact same damage ranges, for instance. Similar types of recoil as well, where spread is more so the factor that comes into play than recoil. And there's often not a huge discrepancy in what you see spread-wise between guns within a given category. And then like your handling and mobility and hipfire stats, they're often just the same. And in this specific case, as I said, it really highlights it because it's the exact same gun as the GRT-BC, something we've had in the game since launch, aside from the fact that it has a slightly different and, in my opinion, better recoil pattern and a slightly better muzzle velocity value. And because of that, the big question comes up, why would anybody ever choose the GRT-BC over this gun? There's no situation, for me at least, where I would rather have a GRT-BC in my hand, and I can have, statistically, that exact same gun now with just better recoil and a slightly better muzzle velocity, so why wouldn't I just take that option every single time if there's even a question of which one of these two should I use? So to me, the BROD 3 has made the GRT-BC completely redundant in the game. There's no reason to use it unless you just like left-leaning recoil patterns instead of right-leaning recoil patterns, for instance. Or if maybe you're just a completionist and you want to make sure you're progressing and leveling up the GRT-BC to a certain level or something. And I do think that's unfortunate. I think there's a lot of values they could be playing with here to create some more differentiation between the guns, and we're just not really seeing that in this game. And as much as I do enjoy the BROD 3, it doesn't really create like a fresh new experience for me with the gameplay. It just feels like a gun I've used before with very slightly different recoil. Now, of course, that's far from this game's biggest issue or anything. It's just something that I felt was really relevant to this particular episode, as I think this is one of the best examples now of their weapon balancing being just too simplistic. Now, of course, these are just my opinions, and I'd love to hear from you guys in those comments down below. First off, how are you feeling about the new BROD 3 Carbine? And second, what are your thoughts on that final topic I talked about here, the lack of differentiation between guns and the fact that the BROD 3 is basically just the exact same gun as the GRT-BC with slightly better recoil and muzzle velocity? Just let me know all of those thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.